Croeso, Shwmai. This is the Chalk of our three Welshies, chill talking about the things we love in the multiverse of comic books, pop culture, gaming, and beyond. My name's Neon Tinted Tom. I got the guys with me, Rob, Chad. How we doing, fellas?
Very well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, doing well.
Yourself?
Yeah, well, it's been a fun week, won't get into it too much. We're here for positivity. We're not going to go gloom and doom. We're here to talk about the comic. Yeah, exactly. We're here to talk about everything in comic book culture. So let's just get on with it. We've got 5 sections. We got the comics. We've got the hot topics. We've got the auditorium. We've got the let's play, and we've got Kryptonite delights. Okay, it's time to go to the comic section. We're going to pick out a couple of comics, new things, things that are being released. And I'm going to head it over to Rob. Rob, you've got a couple of bits you want to talk about.
Yeah, so first up for me this week was the Speed Metal issue, which is a one-shot off the back of issue 3 of Death Metal, written by Joshua Williams and drawn by Eddie Burrows. So Joshua Williams has been writing the main Flash run at the moment, and I think he's due to leave at the end of this current story arc. But it's just an amazing issue. Brings back memories, nostalgia, emotions about the whole Flash family. It starts off, they're running from the Batman Who Laughs, which I'm gonna have to say another spoiler, but the Batman Who Laughs at the moment is within Dr. Manhattan's body.
Oh, okay.
I will not explain more than that, but it's crazy.
No, I definitely need to read this now. I do definitely need to get on board with this.
So it's essentially, this issue is them running away for half of the issue. And then it gets to a point where they turn around. Sorry, I should say who was involved in the main start of it. It's you've got Jay Garrick, Wally West, Barry Allen, and then Bart Allen, the new 52 version. So they are running from Batman Who Laughs. They at one point stop, regroup themselves, have a bit of an argument, and then decide to run towards the enemy instead of running away. But okay, without going into too much detail, Johnny Quick, Max Mercury, Impulse, Jesse Quick, the whole lot turn up at some point. And what's nice is what people who have been following Wally West over the years, so since the whole last crisis, which he disappeared, he's been lost in the Speed Force. He reappeared. His wife, Linda Park, had no recollection of their relationship, and their 2 children didn't exist. So he was dealing with all that sort of heartbreak. But what happens in this is they come back, his kids. So it's just a wicked issue. The people just need to read it, especially if you're Flash fans and you've followed it for this long. It's just an amazing issue.
So just to sort of get us up to speed, I know it's Speed Metal, but what's the reading order? I think you just touched on it, but just to make sure that everyone knows, just so that they're up to date.
So 1, 2, obviously there's issue 1, 2, and 3 have come out of Death Metal. Then they've done one of the one shots so far. They've done the Trinity. And I think a Batman Who Laughs one as well. Yeah, which I haven't read yet.
Yeah.
So I think the Trinity came out, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
So I think they're both. Well, Flash is definitely a one for after 3. Trinity can be. Again, I'd say it'd be fine to read it after issue 3.
Yeah.
I mean, the big thing about the Speed Force one is Wally's is going to be connected to it quite a bit, because there was a series called Flash Forward where he became Metron, which is obviously a Jack Kirby character. And he has the anti-life equation inside him. So Batman Who Laughs is after that to help with him and Perpetua taking over, the other worlds. But it's just been great fun. I mean, just the main run itself, you can't fault them. Can't fault them at all for what they've done.
No,
it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's completely mental. Crazy. Considering this is still based in the current universe, So yeah, it is a crazy thing.
Oh, totally, man, totally. That's the DC Comics. That's my home ground. But Marvel, going back to issue number 1 on a couple of bits, on a couple of issues recently. So we've got Iron Man number 1, we got Juggernaut number 1, and the Immortal She-Hulk number 1 as well. So let's talk our way through first. They're all teen plus as well, by the way, which is something I noticed, which with the speed metal stuff, that's teen, yes, in terms of its age rating.
I think it is, yeah. I think there are certain, I mean, DC tends to be that, although they are pushing a lot more higher now. Marvel's been like it for quite a few years. Most of it's teen plus.
So actually, something just before we get into this, actually, is a relevant thing. Can you talk us through the age ratings of the comics? Do you know them, Rob, at all?
I should still know them, shouldn't I?
Sorry, I should have asked you before.
No, I mean, you've got you basically got what you've got with rentals, I suppose, and cinema. But I say rentals. Who does rentals anymore?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix generation. Come on.
I know.
Well, I still do rentals. On Amazon.
You tend to have all ages. Then you have teen plus, then parental advisory.
Okay.
I've got a feeling teen is 13, and then teen plus is 15 upwards. I would like to say. And
then I guess what is there like a mature then above teen plus?
Yeah, parental advisory or mature, depending on what comic you're reading, what they say.
Okay.
Because I think it's most times mature readers. I think when the Marvel Knights first started,
they were definitely
parental advisory at the bottom, and then
they were definitely for mature readers. They were. I mean, same with was it the Max comics, the one with the Punisher in?
Yeah, Punisher Max. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, they're 100% for adults only.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so sorry for getting sidetracked. Thought it was a cool little conversation to have. Iron Man number 1. We've got obviously the writer Christopher Cantwell. We've got Cafu as the artist. We've got Frank DeMarta as the colorist, and the cover in its glorious form is an Alex Ross piece. Talk us through it, Rob, because I know you've had a quick glance at that.
Yeah, I think last week now, I think that one came out. But again, I haven't touched on Iron Man for a long time. I've been following him in the Avengers run with Jason Aaron and his things with Mephisto that has been going on. But yeah, this one, he's, by all accounts, sold all his shares in his company. I mean, I think they titled this thing as going back to basics. But I still think he's got 63 billion in the bank. But
he's not short, is he? He's not short.
No, exactly. But he's relocated to like an apartment in New York. He's going more low tech, old school, hands on sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's very easy to read, flows very well, and definitely just an introductory issue. And obviously, we were looking at he battles a certain person in the first page.
Yeah,
which I know Chad picked up on as soon as we talked about it. I think the one thing with it, he needs refreshing.
Yeah,
and try and separate from that. I just want to say, it's from Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I think you're right completely.
Try and separate that character now and give him like a bit of fresh air into the comic. Because I think if you think since they released Iron Man and then they had the Matt Fraction run, which was just superb, they've done some decent runs since then. But I think it's one of those titles that has suffered, unfortunately, with the Marvel Universe films. So I will pick up issue 2 and see what is going on. It's got a nice sort of social commentary going on throughout the comic. So he's posting things about him moving and all that. And it is basically just him getting slammed for everything he tries to do.
Yeah, I did see that. And it was quite interesting, actually, for them to sort of panel it up with the social media type posts as well. I did see that, actually, as I was skimming through.
Which is a nice, because that's the world now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly.
If you're going to put yourself out there, you've got to take criticism, haven't you?
Well, yeah, certainly you do. Certainly you do. Any closing thoughts with that? Obviously, you said you're going to buy issue 2. Obviously, the artwork is very, very nice as well.
I know I don't like I don't like to spoil the comics so much.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
There's certain elements. It's very shady, like of what's going on. So we're not sure. There's one scene which I said I will talk about is that he shows his outfit, which will probably pop up here. His costume. I say new costume, but old school costume. So kind of Bob Layton-ish era. And it's just lovely. I love that sort of, when you got the cuffs, which are a bit wider, so it looks like he's actually got gloves on. And
so is this the one? This is the new costume that pops up in this new issue. Was I correct in saying that Alex Ross has designed this as well? Did I see that in the notes with the?
I'm not too sure on that.
I'm sure I saw that in the comic notes. Yeah, like I might be completely wrong. So please do not come after me if I was. But I'm sure I saw Alex Ross designed something there.
No, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the cover. I mean, we'll go back to the cover. Just
it's a bit luscious, isn't it?
It's I don't know. I watch him on YouTube, and he sits there just like chilled, and he's got this palette in front of him. He's just there doing away. It's just effortless.
Yeah.
Does he airbrush or?
No, just
because I thought he used to do airbrushing. I thought he used to do this style of airbrushing.
Drawings. He does reference some of his work because he's I think back with the Kingdom Come runs, he had certain friends of his or certain people that he did reference for Joker all the time and Superman. But such a talent, these people. I mean, I like to draw, but it's just the next level, that guy.
Oh, to be able to do it at that type of level, it must be absolutely phenomenal, with any form of skill, isn't it, really? So we've got a couple of number ones just to sort of briskly fly through, especially with Marvel. We've got Juggernaut number 1, which is written by Fabian Nicieza. I don't know. I've messed that up. I apologize.
The Z in there.
Yeah, it's the Z in there. I practiced it all earlier, and I got it wrong now. Ron Garney is the artist. Colorist is Matt Miller. And then we've got the cover by Jeffrey Shaw and Matt Miller as well. I had a quick squint through. Preface with all this, I'm not a Marvel Comics reader, so this is quite new territory for all me. But obviously, as I've said before, the artwork and everything looks really, really cool in there. I need to have a proper read through them, but they're on my list to read. And another one I had, that's a Teen Plus as well, something to notice.
5-issue run on that, I believe, on the Juggernaut.
Oh, wicked.
He's quickly, I think he's working for Damage Control. He's taking a new line of work. He just basically wants to make himself a better person now instead of being this angry.
Damage Control, I love the comic from that as well, especially with after World War Hulk. I love all those spin-offs for that. So I definitely would be picking that up.
Well, as you mentioned the Hulk, the Immortal She-Hulk had their issue number 1 come out. Written by Al Ewing. Artist was John Davis Hunt. Color is Mario Merez. And then the cover is Joe Bennett and Ryu Jose. It looks quite cool inside, actually. It's quite an ensemble story. I won't give too much away bar what you're going to see over the top here. I've not had much exposure to She-Hulk, if I'm completely honest. You guys, what's your history with the character?
Not as, like, I would say, maybe a bit more than you, but I have read a lot of the Immortal Hulk. Because Rob and my good friend Simon, they put me in touch with it, and I just loved it. And if it's going to be anything like that, almost like a Hammer horror type comic, like the Immortal Hulk sort of is, then I'm definitely on board for it because I want to read this. But this is something I do want to read. Just love the character. Just something different. I mean, was it the cousin of Bruce Banner in it, if I remember right?
Couldn't tell you specifically in this line itself. I haven't had a proper read through. I just did a skim through for the podcast itself. But Rob, you are my resident godfather of comics. So,
because with this, I mean, I definitely put a chat onto the Immortal Hulk. for some reason, I lost interest in it. Which I know has been very popular, but it was just something I just, it was one of those things I lost interest in it.
Yeah.
With She-Hulk, I haven't, apart from in Avengers, I haven't read an individual comic of hers since, let's talk 6 years ago, I'd say, which I used to love.
Okay.
I think there were some great comics out then. And unfortunately, I lost touch with Immortal Hulk. And obviously, with the She-Hulk now and with the She-Hulk casting, I know we'll talk about it would be a nice, I think, hopefully it'll be a good jumping on. That's what I've hoped they've done with the first issue. It's a good jumping on point for everyone. So they don't have to worry about all that and just go, right, let's go.
So, Rob, as you said that, the She-Hulk has been cast, I'm going to spring it over to you. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, I think, this week it was announced that, excuse my pronunciation, I think it's Tatiana Maslany is being cast.
Sounds pucker to me.
For the Disney Plus She-Hulk TV series.
Okay, so that's in early development at the moment then, obviously, if they just cast
it. Must be. I think the amount of stuff they have that is going to be released the next year to two is ridiculous, isn't it? But
a lot.
To be interesting that they do. They could do whatever with it, couldn't they? With Jennifer Walters, and I'm guessing they'll do an origin.
Yeah,
I mean, when they do the transfusion origin that she has from Bruce, and does that, or they do something else, or so it'd be good, man. Another, I suppose another female superhero.
Yeah, which is wicked. Yeah, they do need more of. Obviously we got Black Widow coming out. Captain Marvel did very, very well at the box office. Wonder Woman with the DC side. Birds of Prey has got a lot of fan base as well. I think there was a lot of good stuff in there. So yeah, exactly. I think there needs more of it, especially on TV as well. I know there are obviously female heroes out there in TV world, but I think there, could be more.
Marvel, yeah, definitely. And she's a good character to bounce off, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
In the Avengers, in the Avengers comic, it's definitely a because her sort of alter ego is a bit different and make up to like Bruce and the Hulk. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see that on.
As you said, female heroes. The last comic I'm just going to briefly skim over, as is topical. We've got Eleanor Holmes popping up on the Netflix. Enola Holmes, even. I don't know what I said the first time, but Enola Holmes, The Case of the Missing Marquis. This is a Serena Blasco adaptation of the Nancy Springer's novel. The artwork is very, very nice. It's ages 8+. Very... Obviously, I'm not the target audience. I don't believe any of us are the target audience. However, Rob, as you have two little girls yourself, it seems like something that you could actually, in a couple of years, it seems like a nice thing,
This is IEW.
I believe so. Yes, yeah. It's a trade paperback collected edition of a series of run. So yeah, it looks really, really good. Okie doke. Just before we go into the hot topics, there's a kind of hot topic that's going on in the comics industry that I think is relevant to talk about just before we get there. So Rob, take us away. What do you want to talk about?
So obviously loads of business being affected recently because of obviously COVID and, things of, it's been bad. And obviously in the comic industry, there's been artists who've been rallying together, making money for local comic book shops.
Yeah.
That said, there's always been the question of where the comics go from here. With digital content, with printing, all that sort of stuff. So this week an article came out and it was Jerry Conway, the writer who, created, Punisher, Power Girl, Jason Todd, tons of things. And his opinion was straight to the point. Cancel all superhero comics, streamline them so they are easier to read and younger children can pick them up and read them, and then still do the monthly releases on those, and then do separate, sparsely released graphic novels which cater to the older generation, where you can jump on, you know, this certain universe, and you can just go, right, I'll read this, I'll read that. And I think, especially where DC have been going with the sort of the Black Label series, that might be a way to go. So I'm just wondering how you feel. Obviously, we're at the range where, I mean, comics should be for kids. You know, I don't. Kids need to read comics, don't they? I try. Yeah. I'd love for my kids to read them, but most of the comics I read, they can't read.
No.
So, how do you feel the way it should go? What should it change?
I'll say, yeah, definitely. It's definitely. It does need to be bringing it down for the kids and getting the kids involved as well, and then so the kids can sort of grow up with it, like what we did when we were kids. Definitely, I wouldn't go as like as writing what he was saying, like, you know. But I think it's definitely worth sort of exploring, or someone to explore, and just bring it down. And get more, not just get new people in who doesn't really pick up comics, because it is for kids, but it's just
minefield, though, isn't it, for kids?
It is, yeah, because you don't really know, like, because you don't want them to expose them to certain things or certain ideals. Because I do feel in comics there's a lot of people, especially writers out there, and there is a bit of a fan base where a certain writer, I mean, this is in Transformers, for example, there is a few people there that have got the writers have got the fans have got their ears, and they're pushing their agendas into comics.
So, you know what we've talked about in previous podcasts with the multiversity.
Mm.
And when people
I'm all for that.
They want to jump in on point, and they go, "Oh, hang on a minute, you're gonna have to maybe read this, read that." And I think they tried to do certain jump on points when Marvel movies or DC movies have come out, and they've released a line of comics which suits children, so they're more interested in it because it's like the films. But I think he has a valid point where children can't pick up comics anymore in the way we could.
No, 100%.
I mean, what about you, Tom?
So I see the rationale behind the whole book scenario and keeping the individual issues for the children. That's ultimately what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, I get that, because I did come into comics only buying trade paperbacks, right? And fundamentally then, as I got really into them, as with everything, you sort of jump in two-footed, you want to absorb everything, you start noticing that you can have collector's items as the individual comics, and that's when I ended up going in and starting buying individual comics. For me personally, I prefer the books, I guess, purely because you can put them up on a bookshelf and they look like books. You know, I always call them grown-up picture books. You know, when people say you're a comics fan, like that's how I see it. They're amazing grown-up picture books. But obviously DC are doing something a bit different at the moment, where they are moving all their stuff to digital. I don't think making the jump straight away in terms of cutting off adults straight away, because there is a huge market. At the end of the day, you know, I'm hitting 30 and, you know, you guys respectfully are a bit older than I. We're doing a podcast about comics and things like that. If they start completely burning their bridges, then there's going to be a huge source in the market that I understand obviously will be unable to read material suitable for them.
I think the big thing for him as well, that you know, if you forget about us for a second, there's a big gap in the market. You know, there's a lot of children out there.
Oh, yeah.
Who want to read. So if they can capitalize on that and bring new fans into, then brilliant. You know, that's what it's about, I think. You know, like any of the stuff we talk about, if it brings someone new into it, small or big, then that's the best outcome.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's such a difficult one, you know, without knowing the ins and outs and everything. But I can understand there is a lot of choice out there, as you've said. There is a lot of titles out there. How many Batman like books are there? I know they've. I say that with a Batman hat on, but how many Batman books? I remember in the New 52, there were so many different versions of Batman to follow on with, and there's only so many different ways. Obviously, each artist has the different
itself as well. Transformers, mate. You know, there's never one Transformer comic, is there? You know,
no.
and the amount of covers they used to release.
Oh God, don't
you need to go all the way up to like F.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I had that bug bad, but then it got to a stage where I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I used to be a bit of a completist with my Transformers and Slam to a degree, but the covers really did annoy me a lot. And you know how many IOs I bought through you.
We've all been, look, back in the day when they say collector issue, you pick it up. It never becomes a collector issue.
No.
Still do it because it's on the cover.
I don't know. I've still got my Harley Quinn New 52, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti run. I've got one of the scratch and sniff still in the bag. Do you remember that issue? I've still got one in the bag. So that's going to be worth something one day, I can tell you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens, Rob. It really is. Like,
I don't want to say goodbye to certain titles for myself, but if it means
survival for them,
you know, that's what it's about. And like the difficult thing is obviously comic book shops.
Yeah,
because you're going to have to get a new breed of people in, and if your graphic novel is going to be sparsely released, then they need to rethink what they can do.
Well, that's why in America, though, the reason that I think DC and some of these companies are thinking about these alternative ways of doing it is, I believe I remember watching a podcast or reading an article saying that the majority of DC's sales of comic books comes through Best Buy and Walmart. Now, like, where they have the trade paperbacks there, and they've got basically the choice of when we go to Waterstones or HMV, but like times a million.
Got everything there.
Yeah, you know. So that's why the individual comic sales are specifically for comic book shops. Now, with some of the tactics that some of the companies are employing at the moment or thinking of employing, you could argue that the only people they're really going to screw over are the comic shops themselves, and they're the whole point of them is to sell the product that this whole industry creates. So
it's been happening a long time. You think, look at the toys, Chad. You know, back in years ago, we could only get them from comic book shops.
Yeah,
and around neck, which is Walmart, which is Asda's.
Well, not really. You had Woolworths back in the day.
Yeah, but you get, if you're thinking about what we see in previews and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But now we see these things popping up in like Tesco, Sainsbury's, which you never did you?
I was going to say, like Funko Pops, right? Prime example. Now, I remember when they first came out, you could only get them in comic shops and, the big places like Forbidden Planet, right? Now, like you get arguably more. They're everywhere. They're Tesco. They're your, any form of shop that would have
Primark now. I think sell them.
Really,
I think.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen them. Like they have the Harry Potter section where they've got the clothes and all that sort of stuff.
They're like the new Trolls, aren't they, from the 90s and 80s?
Don't get me wrong. I do like some pop vinyls, and I've got some right underneath here, my desk here. Wait a minute. Quickly, here we go. I've been after these for ages, and I got these literally just not long ago. And I'm not a big fan of pop. I only like them for certain films. And here we go. There you go. Put it in front of my face.
Oh, cool, man.
And this was really hard to get hold of as well.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I got the set of them now, and I'm only collecting like ones from certain movies I like. But like, I'm not a big fan.
I have, bought a few. It is a novelty, but
you got more than me.
Yeah, but the problem is I'm a Flash fan, so they've released nearly every version of the Flash, and it's just like, oh, okay.
I've even got a Flash. My brother bought me a Ezra Miller Flash Justice League one a couple of years ago. I was a bit gutted, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason I got these for, they were on offer like £6 or something. I was like, oh, okay, I might as well buy the two.
I would like to preface the only reason I was gutted was because of the Justice League cut. But anyway, let's get on to the hot topics, guys. We've got a couple of bits to go through. We're gonna have a quick fire round first, so I'm just gonna spiel off some really short stories. First of all, Vin Diesel goes pop. Feel Like I Do has been released. The internet has gone wild. Black Adam finds its Hawkman in Aldous Hodge via Variety. That's a story that's come out. Batwoman, first look, Javicia Leslie. That's an interesting topic as well. Samuel L. Jackson returning to Disney Plus show, and John Cena gets his own spin-off show with this Peacemaker spin-off from the Suicide Squad.
I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
You take the floor. Chad, what out of that, what takes your fancy?
For me, out of all of it, I mean, I'm a big Hawkman fan. That's something I do want to sort of go down, because I did like this Savage Hawkman, and I like this Hawkman of old, loved all that. So that's something I wouldn't mind going down quickly. But mainly for me at the moment is going to be John Cena's Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad spin-off. That's something I can't wait to see, and I can't wait to see some more of that. And I think John Cena is definitely a right person for it. I think he can bring something good to the role. Love John Cena.
Yeah, he's. I tell you one thing, in that footage that I've seen from so far with the Suicide Squad, he just looks like a bloody Action Man toy character, doesn't he?
He does. He does quite a bit.
Do you know when you're like when he's in the wrestling?
The G.I. Joes. Joes.
He does. He looks like a real life G.I. Joe. I know that was the whole point with the wrestling. You know, he was the prototype. He was the whole point. That, you know, that was his gimmick at the start.
Oh, he's supposed to be a robot from the future. The prototype.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. He's meant to look like an action figure. He's a WWE wrestler. He's Vince's boy, isn't he? You know. So like, but he just It just looks so like crazy. Do you know, but he's stood next to normal sized people. Like Joel Kinnaman is not small.
No, not at all.
You know? What do you think about that then, Rob? Peacemaker spin-off. What do you know about the character? Like what should we expect?
Not to be honest, I personally don't know a lot. I can definitely remember, you know, reading certain things with him in, but I do wonder if it's because is it HBO Max?
Yes, it will be, eventually. So God knows where it'll be with us.
So, you know, whether it's depending on what happens to his character within the film, would it be a setup for, you know, before or after?
I think it's going to be set before, I think that's what they're going for.
I think so, yeah.
Hopefully. Well, I think it'll just be... I think James Gunn is involved anyway, isn't he? So
yes, I think he's going to be directing them as well.
You know, a fun thing. I think this week for me, Hawkman definitely.
Aldous Hodge.
Yeah, wicked. I think. I mean, I will have to talk about the elephant in the room that people have been, you know, out there. I wouldn't say, you know, there's no hate out there. People have been frustrated with the casting of a black man in, you know, as Hawkman. But you know, certain comments, like for me, it was just a case of, you know, this isn't canon, and it's just like sometimes just take an escape from the comics, and just go and watch a film.
Isn't the whole point with Hawkman is that he can really be anyone?
Reincarnation, yeah. And I suppose they'll argue then that if it's a certain version of him, then it's not, you know. But
from what I can understand, it's going to be Carter Hall, yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so. So that's the Golden Age. He's got two origins, which are pretty much similar of origin, apart from the Thangarian or Hawkworld version. But just go with the flow. I mean, you just got to... Don't go and watch the film. You know, if you're going to just be affected by that.
If you're going to get wound up with stuff like that, don't go and watch it. Like,
I can understand people who've maybe been... You know, he's been around a long time. They're big fans of the character. But do you know what? Hawkman, I mean, look, he was in Smallville... Legends of Tomorrow.
Yep.
You guys have to help me. He's been in The Flash. I know it's the same, but you know, he's appeared a lot.
Of course, man.
Quite a few.
So just get on with it. It really is. You need to sometimes escape from that. You know, I know I'm getting a bit aggressive, but get out of the bubble of the comics like world, and then just go and enjoy it for what it is.
If you're going to get wound up about stuff like that, clearly you cannot have fun in your life whatsoever. So, you know,
some people need to get over it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, arguably you could say
Great
the same
actor,
with... Yeah.
You know, and so just do it. I think the only thing I said, you know, when we had the messages in the cross, I just want him to be like that menacing, that big sort of warrior.
I think he'll get there.
Like the straps on it, you know, like He-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of muscular thing coming out like that, you know, with wings and just,
Well, I'm sure they'll get there. You know, I'm sure they'll give him 6 months in the gym with The Rock. And
obviously he's going to play aside the Rock, so he's got to look big.
They're all going to have to. Like, obviously, Atom Smasher, you're going to have a CGI effect to obviously augment and make him a bit smaller. But Hawkman, with the traditional type of costume, you do tend to have, as you say, the He-Man type upper body look.
It's a lot of flesh on show, isn't it?
Yeah. And if you're going to be standing next to The Rock, who, just looks like an absolute Adonis.
I hope they don't make him too big, though. That's the thing. You don't want him to be too
as well,
big.
Isn't it? Because with the couple of reincarnations of him within the TV universe, it's looked not great at times. So I'm sure they'll get. This is a high budget movie. I'm sure it'll be fine. Just quickly, I want to ask you: did you actually listen to the Vin Diesel pop track? I quite liked it. It wasn't too bad. I'm sorry. It's like I say it's not too bad. It's a run of the mill 3.5 minute, however long it was, pop song. It's been produced by Kygo, who is, flavor of the month. That sounds very disrespectful, but he is the big kind of, or one of big dance names at the moment. It sounded 90s at some point. It was kind of... But that's the way the music industry's going at the moment, because there's a lot of Lady Gaga's new album that has that 90s kind of, dance feel to it. So that's the way. It is what it is. What do people expect? It's produced very well. It's got low end where it should. The vocals are mixed where it should be. It's catchy, as you say. Chad, what did you think? Did you have a listen to it?
I didn't. I didn't.
I'll have a listen tomorrow. It is just a nice and easy tune. It's nothing too harsh. It's just really pleasant and... We're going to get pelters for saying it wasn't horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be part of my playlist. If it was on my playlist, it would certainly not be the worst song on there. I can guarantee you that. There's no point hating it, is there? He's just doing some fun. He's got too much money to blow. He just wants to go in and record with one of the biggest dance artists out there. Leave him do it. That is, it is what it is. Can I ask? We said about it, obviously, with the notes. You said there was which I didn't know about. There was an awkward introduction to the. Yeah. So. Basically, they did a bit of a premiere on Kelly Clarkson's show, and Kelly Clarkson's was doing a bit we spoke about the Thunderdome with the WWE last week. So the audience, instead of having an audience there, was just all these LED screens in the audience, but individual kind of rectangular upright. Now, whilst they were playing the track, but Vin Diesel wasn't there, they had all these kind of really awkward people just doing this on a Zoom call type of, oh man, it's, I can see what they were trying to do. I commend them for doing it, but it has become its own meme on the internet. It's, dudes, it's crazy stuff. Anyway, guys, let's have a quick hot topics, a couple of extras to go through. Chadwick Boseman, he passed away a couple of months ago, just before we started this podcast, so we couldn't pay our tribute to him. But as a result of obviously his passing, the line of work that he was in, and the body of work that he produced, Disney have paid tribute to his work as Black Panther with a tribute memorial in the shopping district of downtown Disney. Did you guys see that? It was by Nicholas Smith.
No, I haven't heard of that at all.
No, I didn't. I've seen the printing. They've on Marvel Comics. Obviously, the last week or two, they put a tribute on every issue. I've seen that, but personally, I haven't seen the statue. Oh, it's a bit. Well, it's not a statue, so it's basically an artwork on a piece of wall. It is. On one of the side of the buildings. It's really, really meticulously done. I'll send it through to you. I'm going to be putting it over the top of here as well. It's just a nice tribute. Obviously it was tragic what happened, and with the more that we see of footage with him fundamentally giving hints of him going through something, but it was, Chadwick Boseman, fair play to him, absolute trooper for never playing on exactly. Never made it known. Yeah, exactly. And
to keep things a secret in this day and age is quite hard.
Exactly. It's absolutely tragic what happened, and like we say, we pay our condolences to him. Supergirl season 6, it's going to be their last. They're bringing it to an end. They are obviously, with a lot of the CW shows, they are converting them over slowly but surely. I think they're going to become HBO Max, in the end, I believe, as they get their house in order. But they've got that new Arrowverse show that's going to be starting instead, which I think is basically condensing all the shows into one and nitpicking the characters they want fundamentally. But yeah, what's been your experience with Supergirl? How have you felt? How it's gone? Are you even sad that it's finishing?
For me, I watch it from the get go. I really love the character. I wanted to watch something which is different from Superman because I didn't want just to be a Superman character to be like the one that's going to save the show and all that. But the crossovers that they did as well, which was amazing, with the Flash and so on as well, I found to be a very sort of upbeat show, and then especially when they use Hank Hanshaw, and we all know who Hank Hanshaw is, become the Cyborg Superman. They've done that with him with Martian Manhunt, which I called right at the beginning. Yeah. I knew that was going to be Martian Manhunt. I just had a bit of a thing about it. And I enjoyed the show. I am going to be sad to see it go. But to be honest, though, I did feel, with all the crossovers, I did feel it was a bit too much going on. And I kind of didn't really keep up as much as I should have. Maybe I might use this opportunity now just to catch up because it's ending. So, but yeah, I think the first 3 seasons were awesome. The first 3 seasons.
Rob, anything to add there at all?
To be perfectly honest, I don't think I've watched more than 3 episodes of the series.
Really?
It was just a case of when it came out, I just, haven't gone back through it. I've watched certain highlights or, I've read about certain episodes. And I think the most I've watched out of it, to be perfectly honest, repeatedly, was the Corridor Crew when they were evaluating graphics or VFX on the Martian Manhunt. And it was just a bit... but it's one of those type of series. I think they've... Looking at compared to the Flash, I think the Flash has spent more time and money by the looks of it with the VFX. I don't know what went wrong with the Supergirl with some certain things I've seen.
It's quite an ambitious character to do for TV. To be honest with you, one thing I will say, I started off really, really loving the CW shows with the first couple of seasons of Arrow, and I really, really enjoyed maybe the first 3 seasons of Flash. But then as they started to expand, I just got too busy in my life to follow everything. And also, as well, my taste... and also, my tastes developed. And ultimately, as Chad said, what you love about it is that it's bright, it's cheerful, it's hopeful. For me, it was too much of that. And I was getting... again, it's nothing. It's not a bad thing. It's just my taste, So, for me, it kind of... There was so much to take in. I was wondering when, the cap was going to burst, basically, when they were going to sort of... It's horrible, obviously, all these people, they're going to be coming to the end with their jobs and things like that, but they're all very, very talented individuals, so I'm sure they will
It's a great journey for them all, if you think what they've been part of.
Exactly.
8 series there.
Exactly. But talking about coming back, Spitting Image is coming back to our... screens. It's 2020, and if we ever needed a pick-me-up where absolutely anything is going to be parodied in this show, the new trailer, guys, let's have a chat. You guys went through the first series, the first run, I guess. You could appreciate it a bit better than I do, because I would have been... Yeah,
for me, I mean, I would have... I mean, it finished in the mid-90s. I think about 96, I think it finished. So
84 to 96.
I definitely... My parents watched it. It's one of those things. I think a show like this needs to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll get complaints now because of people going...
It's already get complaints.
Exactly. So I just hope it's here and it makes people just do what it's supposed to. Have a laugh, forget about everything else. I mean, the trailer was... I do love, though, the puppets have always been brilliant. The puppets are superb in this.
Yeah, they're mad, aren't they? Like the artistry that's gone in.
At one point, you're thinking, is it? Or it's just like the Trump puppet, the face and everything is just brilliant.
Superb.
The voice actor for Trump as well. The voice acting, obviously you can tell which ones they're paying more attention to because they're going to be clearly lead reoccurring characters. Boris and Trump, that writes itself in terms of
obviously
that show.
In like a generic sort of thing. I mean, just the fact that they dare go there.
Oh, dude, I know someone that's working on the show, right? And they've already said that what we've seen in the trailers, it's only the tip of the iceberg, and like
it's into like that sort of like Muppets field, because it's like a different type of fabric. But when you go to that sort of a scene,
that's what I mean. It's one of those things.
Because I know Amy, in our family, we always were watching the news and all that sort of stuff. But Amy remembers, trying to watch the original, but didn't know who people were. And I think with this one, they've brought in, obviously these days, it is these celebrities.
So many
that they're picking out, like Kanye with his shoe throwing.
You get a shoe.
I know, and I'm trying to think now. Obviously,
there's The Rock, there's Billie Eilish, there's Ed Sheeran. There's
like a turnip, is it?
I think so.
I mean, I grew up with Spitting Image. I mean, it used to be on. It was just Sunday or Saturday, like 10:30, and I was like allowed to just about watch it. And some things I got, and some things I didn't get. And it's just I mean, for example, you had Chris Barry as well, who did the voice. I'm not sure if he's returning to the show. I don't know, and he did some amazing voices as well. And it's just, I mean, that's a good thing as well, you see, because it doesn't take it seriously, because it is what we need now. But things as well, though, we've always had South Park, and that's been here for us as well. So, but this is like our South Park in a way for the Brits, And I'm really super excited to see to see the trailer. I was like, I can't believe we're going to get another spin.
Oh, that's brilliant! Like my dad watched it last night as well, and he was.
What did he think?
He laughed. He said it's. If you think, I mean, I don't really want to call it satire, but it's such. I mean, the old stuff. It wasn't necessarily dry humor.
It's a different type of humor. This humor, I will say that it's a bit more slapsticky. And again, it's not slapstick, but in terms of it's more OTT and a bit more brash in how it's presenting the humor, I'd say.
And I can agree with Chad when I watched it. I mean, it was very late I watched it. I remember sneaking down as well and looking through the banister and my parents watching it. And to me, like at that time, like you, I didn't know these people. I mean, I suppose, like I'm trying to think how old I was now, probably when I was watching it, 11, 12. So I wasn't, watching the news and knowing these certain people, obviously certain celebrities I knew, but I suppose in my mind I didn't get the jokes they were saying. But I think I really hope it stays on. It's a breath of fresh air, and we need it right now.
We do.
Well, it's going to be on BritBox. How much exposure have you guys had to that?
Not much. But I'm going to have to now.
It's a little bit. I know you can get a 30-day free trial as a result.
Wait
I don't know.
To come out then, I suppose, and then get 30-day and watch it.
Oh, well, I guess you could do that, yeah. Because I know they're starting in October, end of October, I believe, and they're going to be running through all the way to Christmas because there's quite a few episodes going to be coming out. So
the BritBox stuff then, that it for them on certain things. They're not going to maybe go down the route like YouTube or Google Play where you can buy episodes.
I haven't seen anything yet. I'd have to look into that. Obviously, they're trying to push BritBox. It's going to be probably one of their flagship shows for the coming couple of months, just because of the nostalgia and the reputation is going to get, and how people are going to react to it, I believe, is going to send a lot of people to BritBox just out of curiosity. I believe. You know?
So if they said, I don't know the details of episode numbers or anything like that, is it?
So basically, I think what they're doing is they're going to start October and then basically go weekly all the way up until Christmas. So you've got 2 months worth of...
That's a few episodes then.
Yeah, a few episodes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people will get frustrated and annoyed. And I'm sure the creators will love the fact that they get a kick in that way. So
same old response. Just don't watch it, I suppose. If you don't, if that's going to offend you.
What we're going to do now, we're going to head on to the next section. We're heading in to the auditorium, and this is where we are going to chat a little bit and discuss the movies, TV, streaming, anything else that you can view on your boxes. That's what we're going to do. So, Wandavision trailer that has been released, guys. What are your thoughts? And also, what the is going on?
I'm really looking forward to it. It's pretty much doing the House of M in a way, in their own way. They're doing.
What does that mean then, Chad? Come on.
Well, was it Avengers Disassembled, or wasn't it right when Wanda had a bit of a meltdown? She killed Hawkeye. She killed quite a few people.
The sort of no more mutants, basically.
Yeah. And then she makes her own little world, and she's got a family with Vision as well. So it's not going down that road, but it's kind of going down that road. And I think I love it. I think it's going to be fun.
No, it's weird. It's kooky. I think the main, not to go against what Chad was saying, but the main preference of it was a Tom King comic Vision. And it's that sort of scenario it's kind of takes you through happiness, tragedy. It's a beautiful journey, amazing comic, and they've definitely taken certain bits from that. And I think the trailer is meant to confuse people to a certain aspect and keep them guessing. It's a great, when you have got that sort of 60s feel, but with the music playing, and it's very sort of creepy and those sort of things. So I think they'll do brilliant on this. If I think what they're going to do with certain, it's going to be gold. I would say I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be just such good fun.
It reminds me of the old Mr. Ed TV shows as well, back in America, back in the USA, the old black and white ones,
Yeah,
you've got quite a few people coming out, and you've got the mum from the 70s show.
Yeah, I did see that actually.
Now, but yeah,
she's a great actor. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So talking about gold, we can't obviously have a spoiler talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it very, very briefly. The Boys episode 6, season 2 continues with the absolute lunacy that they are, carrying on with. What I will say, there's a development with a character, another character does another thing, there's a love interest. That's all you need to know. No spoiler. Absolutely brilliant. The type of stuff they do on that show, that episode does some stuff, and I'm like, it's only this show that can do that. That's only so that's all I have to say about it, boys, because, I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you're watching this...
It's a shame, isn't it? Because we haven't caught up.
Yeah, I still haven't caught up.
It's, like you said, I think it's such a great response. The show's it's done wonders, isn't it? And obviously you've been thoroughly enjoying it. So me and Chad will make a promise to each other now that we'll catch up so you can, talk about it properly.
I just want to discuss with you guys about it properly. I've got no one to discuss it with. This is shocking.
I talked to you recently, today about I've watched the first series, but now they're going to introduce Jensen Ackles into series 3, and my wife and me are Supernatural fans. She hasn't watched series 1, so we're going back to watch series 1 again, and then so I'll tell her next week we need to a couple of episodes a night will be fine.
Yeah, chop.
Yeah, we'll catch up, won't we?
I think I'm on episode 5. I think I am
of season 2.
Yeah.
Ah, nice, cool. Okay, so sticking with Amazon, I'm just going to briefly mention I've been watching All or Nothing, the Tottenham Hotspur docu-series. I am not a Tottenham Hotspur fan. I am a Man United fan. I'm already going to get pelters just for saying that. But as a football fan in general, I like getting to see the behind the scenes of high-level athletes and sports teams. You know, The Last Dance on Netflix is an absolutely amazing docu-series. I don't know if either of you have seen that. If you haven't, like, I am not a basketball fan, but it follows the Michael Jordan and the Bulls. So, you know, the record-breaking sort of streak that they had. Dudes, it is like phenomenal stuff. The Last Dance. All or Nothing, not quite as intense. Obviously, it hasn't quite got the Hollywood level story underlaying it, but it's
that's
really
where they come from, don't they? I think was it All or Nothing was a series they did the NFL, didn't they? They followed certain teams in the NFL first, didn't they?
I get, yeah, it's a tried and tested model, like with what they're doing. You know, they kind of like Big Brother style cams in the changing rooms, and then, you know, sort of shot together, properly shot interviews and talking about certain events that are happening through the season, etc. So obviously it covers Tottenham Hotspur going from their previous manager, Pochettino, to now the mercurial, infamous Jose Mourinho.
I love the trailer of him just walking in. And then you don't show, you know who it is, but you just show the back of the head and he's just waving.
Like, to be honest with you, the only reason you're watching it is to see what Mourinho's like. And so far, I'll be honest with you, his reputation of being this absolute third of a person, like, he seems quite funny, charming, you know, and that's coming from a Man United fan who had to deal with him for 4 years or however long it was. Felt like longer. But let's move away from that. Last bit in the auditorium, Enola Holmes on Netflix has dropped. I personally have not seen this yet. I do know a couple of people that have seen it. Seems like it's getting overwhelmingly positive views. And yeah, just good fun. You know, Henry Cavill plays Sherlock Holmes, who does play a side character role. And then I'm correct in pronouncing this, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. And what I found, because I've seen a couple of trailers, her British accent is absolutely brilliant because I've only just found out that she's British.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't hear Eleven speak that much, do you, in Stranger Things? So, yeah, it's going to be on my list because it's got that kind of charming quality to it. Because Helena Bonham, I've fucked it up. It's gone.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Close enough. Why not? That lady that was in all the Tim Burton films, Helena Bonham Carter, is playing their mother. So Mrs. Holmes, I don't even know if that's the right word, if that's the right surname. Anyway, yeah, it's getting good reviews. Hopefully I'll get round to seeing it at some point because
I want to watch them. I think it's rated as a 12. So
yeah,
with the girls, I'll see because obviously we've got a younger one, but hopefully it's a 12 because of certain things maybe they don't understand. So maybe we can sit down and because they've watched certain Harry Potter films which are as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks good fun, light-hearted. So
lots of fourth wall break-in, which is quite cool.
Adventure of a young girl. So I think my two girls will love it. So we'll definitely sit down and watch that.
I want to watch it as well because I just think it'd be fun to watch.
Talking about things that are good, and I think that Chad will possibly disagree with me. Let's move on to Let's Play. I am quickly going to say that I've managed to play a couple of hours on WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Now,
Poor you.
Now, what I will say is that it is actually a really fun game, Mr. Chad, okay?
No, it's not.
Now, have you played it?
Don't want to. Don't like the look of it. No.
So, do you enjoy games such as Smash Bros?
No.
You don't?
It's not my cup.
Is he telling the truth there, Rob?
No, I'm just shaking my head because obviously I'm a Nintendo boy as well. So, come on. Everyone likes a bit of button smashing.
Yeah.
The only one I liked a bit of button smashing was a game on the Sega Saturn, Power Stone. Loved that to death. And I know it's roughly the same sort of thing, but that for me was more fun. And the wrestling one, it just doesn't. I want to like it.
Yeah,
I'm a wrestling fan, but it just doesn't do it for me.
The best thing for me, so first couple of games that I played in it, I was absolutely shocking, right? Really bad. I think you start off, you're going to hate this, by the way, Chad. You only start off with a limited number of characters, and you basically got to unlock the whole roster. There's about 70 wrestlers altogether.
Well, that's what games should be about, shouldn't it?
Exactly. It is a bit annoying when it's a thing like wrestling. However, what I will say is that there's a certain number of wrestling classes that each of the wrestlers come under. And I know a previous gripe that Chad has had with some wrestling games, such as TNA. You know, like TNA had your class of wrestlers, and then every wrestler had the same...
that game. I
love the game. Don't get me wrong. I love the game. But what I'm trying to say is each class has a set of moves that are all the same, bar the finisher. So then, for example, your Rey Mysterio and your Kofi Kingston, who are both high flyers, have exactly the same moves fundamentally, bar their finishers. So it's simplified in that way. However, if you play it, because the way the control layout is, you haven't got traditional style grapples. You can't play it like a wrestling game.
It's more of an arcade fighter.
It's an arcade fighter in the vein of your Smash Bros. It's a similar type of control layout if I actually put it on screen now. And once you get to grips with it, it's really good fun. The cage matches are actually quite interesting way of redoing it. You got to kind of go around the cage collecting money, and then once you've collected enough money, you've got enough momentum to then get over the cage and win the match. And the power-ups and stuff as well. You've got like flaming hands.
Oh, so it's like it's taking a bit of Smash TV.
Yeah, well, it's quite a cool little game, to be honest. Right, I've got to play it a bit more. There's some cool customization.
I've watched some of the video clips of it, and I think generally it just looks fun. And I obviously asked you whether it was to do with the NBA in the same name.
Yeah,
what's it called? Sorry.
Battlegrounds. This
Battlegrounds.
is called.
But I think if you're going to take that away from it and have that more fun, like with NBA Jam and all that sort of stuff, where you have those fun quirks where you can power up and do that, then be its own. I mean, I would say watching yours, it doesn't seem to be that glitchy compared to most wrestling games.
Well, that was one of the things, obviously, with 2K20 that came out last year.
That was awful.
A lot of the issues, they changed their team behind the scenes, and I think there was a little bit of politicking went on, and they couldn't work with the code that came through. So the game that got released last year, and ultimately, even at the final patched versions of 2K20, they still managed to get a horrible amount of glitches happening. So
what's the problem with wrestling games, though, over the years? Why is it that?
I don't know.
Is it because there's so much?
There's a lot for the
that you have
to do. It's a lot.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot to do in terms of what the computer is trying to process at that time. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially when they go in. Like a lot of the CPU power, I believe, is hair. Like trying to, motion the hair and stuff like that.
On top of obviously the moves and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And collision, it all depends on what game engine they're using underneath to, do the physics and collisions and things like that.
In the early days, my thing was the punch. It's like you're pressing it and it's just like, it's just this like, which is wrestling, don't get me wrong. But you know when you're like this, you're rapidly trying to press going on at him and it's just like, no, we're going to do this.
Well, this is like, if you were doing combos in Street Fighter type of thing. So, you've got XXY, XYX, YYXY,
Which isn't for me.
It's fine, but then you've got your A for your basic grapple, and then your thumbstick uses the more advanced grapple.
You still do like sort of single button press as well on everything to do moves?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you got like X on the Xbox would be your punch, then your kick is your Y, B is your... I'm trying to think what B is now. Irish whip, and then A is your grapple. But anyway, ultimately, I had a lot of fun with it.
If I had the choice between that or the In Your House and the WrestleMania Arcade, I'll go for the WrestleMania Arcade.
Yeah,
over that game.
It's an extension of that. It's the next.
I know it is, but that's what I would go for. That's why I would play more.
Well, talking about arcades, etc., gaming, sort of new gaming, Chad, give us a next-gen update. What's going on, sir?
We're looking at the moment, as you know, I said in the chat, I managed to pre-order my Xbox X Series. I didn't go for the S, I went for the big bazooka. I thought I'd go for that. It took me 2 days to get it pre-ordered.
Jeepers.
2 whole days, and I managed to get it done on the second day. The person at Microsoft gave me a call back because she had a problem with the system, couldn't place an order, I couldn't place it online. Went to game, sold out the allocation, everyone was sold out, and I just couldn't get hold of it. And then the person at Microsoft, they managed to get me one from Poland. That was their workaround because it's all in Europe, it's all in PAL, so it's fine. But that was the only workaround to get, because over there, I'm not sure how well it's selling over there, but they managed to secure me stock from there. So I'm happy. I'm getting one just after the launch date. I don't really care.
Which is when now, dude?
10th of November. So I'll get it around that time. I don't really mind when I get it. I really don't mind. I mean, I mainly got it because my old Xbox One is on its way. The disk drive's time to go. And game-wise, at the moment, they just released as well that the game prices are looking about $70. That's for PlayStation and Xbox. Roughly looking about between £50 and £60 in that sort of price bracket. And there's been another sort of people are not happy at the moment. They got the new SSD or SD or SSD drives, the terabytes, which is going to be about 220 quid. But to be honest, though, if you think about it when it comes to the PC and what's out now, it's actually, they're on point for price. So really, people are really sort of going, oh, you need a memory card in this. Well, the technology is what they use on basically what they use in the PCs and so on as well. And to be honest, they're about that price as well, maybe a bit more. So like my solid state drive for my PC, that was like nearly 300 quid for the solid state drive, and that's bigger than the card, because the card is about the size of maybe about say 3-4 inches, maybe like an inch wide and about 2 to 3 inches, not even that long. I don't stop you going. I'm not describing myself there, okay, Tom? I'm describing you, but.
Personal. Okay.
But that's between the two, though. But yeah, people are really sort of like not happy about it. But at the end of the day, though, I'll just use. Hopefully, I'll be able to use my USB drive, my portable USB drive. So I'll be fine. So I don't really care. But that's mainly the update at the moment. As soon as I get more news, I will drip feed it to you guys. Oh, and another thing as well, which I don't condone on eBay, and I might have shared it as well, people are doing drawings of the Xbox, and people are getting duped and thinking they're going to get the Xbox X Series. And the pre-orders at the moment are like, people have paid for it in full, and they're charging nearly double, like £600, £700, £800 for the Xbox, and same with the PlayStation as well.
That's sickening.
It is. I mean,
in the news this week though with the Xbox.
What's that?
So Amazon, so the sales of Amazon of Xbox One X, is up by 747%.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And because of the name, because they reckon a lot of people misordered it.
I bought the old Xbox.
Yeah, and misordered it. So there's going to be a load of children come Christmas who have the wrong Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh. And like, it was a good article. They were showing a lot of stuff, but that is one. I suppose if a kid says or someone says, "Can you order this?" But like 700, I just could double check it out. Yeah, 747% up on sales in the Xbox One X. So that's like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's mad.
It is a bit confusing because you got the Xbox S series as well. It is a bit confusing.
They are different. I mean, it's Xbox Series X and Xbox One X, but you can see the confusion with people.
Oh, definitely. It is.
Type in Xbox X, then it's going to come up and And especially if you see it as at this price and not this price, then you're going to go, right, I'm going to...
Oh, bloody hell, I saved like 300 quid, yeah. Like, and then...
Well, it's £359 for the old Xbox One X, if I'm right, 359 quid. So...
Yeah,
but,
similar type.
Yeah, but the good thing about it as well, though, my Kinect will work with it, even though I don't use it, so I'm keeping my Kinect, something I most likely would never ever use. But I'm not going to go for the PlayStation 5. I just don't see no point for me. It's just nothing. But that's the update. If I get any more updates on it, I will keep you guys informed.
Thank you very much there, Mr. Toy Therapy. Thank you. So we're going to go into the final section, Kryptonite Delights. And I'm just going to hand it over to you two in this section. This is where you guys are going to shine. You have been covering Pulse Con for us this weekend. Tell us what went down.
Go on, Mr. Chad.
Ooh.
Start. I'll contribute.
There was tons, absolutely tons, lots of reveals. Really good stuff. Good Power Ranger stuff as well. I mean, I'll quickly go through. I won't go too much into the Power Ranger stuff because I know, but there is one bit I do like. They got the old flipping ones. You press on the side or whatever, and the head will go into from the normal head to their Power Ranger head.
Oh, I remember them as a kid.
Yeah, they're bringing those back.
So weird.
Yeah.
I like those. I loved those. It's just so much fun. And I'm not a real big Power Ranger toy fanatic like you, Rob, because I know you got a few Power Ranger stuff at home. But that was something I really liked. They're bringing back as well more of the vintage Ghostbuster stuff. They had Hero Quest as well, which I remember playing when I was a kid, and I know you played it as well, Rob, as well.
I will definitely talk about Hero Quest. I have so much aggression of what happened. Calm aggression of what happened, because obviously they got revealed on the Tuesday.
That they made the crowdfunder, didn't they?
They crowdfunded, but it's America and Canada only. That's my gripe. I mean, I don't know the licensing. They have... Obviously, they've got the licensing agreement. Originally, obviously, it was released first in Europe. It was MB and Games Workshop back sort of, I think it was 1989 in Europe and then 1990 in America. The frustrating thing, I suppose, for me, because there are massive fans within Europe.
Yeah, huge.
That we can't get it. And the fact that we're going to have to pay ridiculous amount of money now with people on eBay to get it, and it just frustrates the hell out of me. I'm very passionate about this game. It's my childhood, my parents, we all played it, and it's just so frustrating. Press for you, Tom, is literally take a Dungeons and Dragons role playing, but you have furniture. Okay, you still have your Dungeon Master. It's just it makes it easier. It's the involvement.
It's a slimmed down version of D&D. It was a slimmed down version. Make quicker games. Yeah, and you have models as well. And now they got the high detail models. They got the furniture. Now they got the expansion packs coming up for it as well. There's even a bit where you can do your own custom stuff, just like the original. But I would say as well, Rob, yes, it's going to be. We won't be getting in Europe, but be prepared for like comics and cocktails, in-demand toys and things like that. I dare say they will get an allocation of it. And I was speaking to Sarah about it when I was watching. I goes, I really want to get back into this because I've been playing a bit of D&D with Sarah's friends now and again when we all meet up before COVID, and I want to get back into it. And I
was saying with my card, dude. Me and my mum was sitting there, right? We're watching it. So this is like, my mum's very into that sort of gaming. She loves Risk. We were there watching the video. We were ready. We had our card details. We went all past this thing and we were like, no. But I think that's the whole package, obviously, with Hasbro Pulse. It is mainly an American and Canada only. And I think
not all of it. Some of it you can get over to here. Like there's a release some of the Transformers, which I'll get onto a little bit later on.
Yeah, I'll go. We can like go from where you were going to with obviously from Hero Quest and then the other releases with the action figures.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to speak to me and my partner, and I wouldn't mind picking that up. So I'm going to try and get myself that because that's something I do want to invest in. Next thing at the moment, Star Wars. There was a lot of Star Wars reveals, some really good vintage stuff. Then they released as well their next crowdfunder, which is the Razor Crests from the vintage line in the for the Mandalorian,
which looks lovely. How do you feel about the whole HasLab release of that, though?
I think it's great. I mean, I loved what they've done with them. They've done some good Transformers stuff. They haven't done anything at all for the Black Series, which I do feel
in dollars. It's $360.
Which, to be honest, though, for something functional as what it is, compared to say the Sale Badge, which was like, was it $900 or was it $2,000? It was a lot. The Sale Badge, but that was amazing. That was superb. But there's not enough for anything for the Black Series. Nothing at all. So, and I'm hoping they will start doing some bigger ships because they are doing ships as well. So there was that. There was the Hasbro released as well on a Hasbro Pulse only, which I didn't know at the time, but didn't want to get it anyway because I think it's too much money, like nearly 30 quid. You got the Armor Builder Mandalorian, which was going to be the Star Wars celebration for this year. They're exclusive. They've got it on there. That sold out in minutes, and I was like, was it just over $30? Something like that, about $35.
I think it was like $2 per customer or something like that, wasn't it? But that went out so quickly.
Yeah, and I said to Sarah, because me and my partner had a bit of a discussion about figures and so on as well, and my pre-orders. And I was like, I got to be strategic in it at the moment because it's with Star Wars now and Transformers. I'm not buying hardly any Transformers at the moment. I got one coming in the next couple of days, which I'll do a thing about that on my other channel. But there is so much coming out. And Hasbro, over the past, like, say, through the whole pandemic, they've been pumping out so goddamn much. And it is really, really starting to get on my nerves a little bit because it's like normally they will spread out over a year. And now they've been spreading out like in about, say, 8 months, less than 8 months, like 6-7 months. And it is
especially some of their releases when they said, like, I think with certain Star Wars figures, they weren't going to be out till late next year. So you wonder why they don't release it, the details of it next year. Why they have to like push it all.
Well, I don't mind them doing. I mean, they got to get the pre-orders in anyways. I don't mind that, but a lot of it's come out this year because you got the Dark Ray, which was only showing for a trailer for a couple of seconds. I'm not interested in that. They got Commander Cody finally in the archive line. That's going to be out for next year, along with Throne, which I'm not really bothered about. That's with Rebels. There's they got the new Flame Trooper, which is from the Mandalorian. I've ordered that.
That looks lovely.
I wanted that one for quite a long time. I love my troopers. There is Jar Jar Binks, which looks superb. I really like that. I really do like Jar Jar Binks. It's a lovely figure. 28 quid, 30 quid. I think it's a bit much. Then another Boba Fett is coming out. Now you got the holiday specials with their little holiday buddies. Not my cup of tea, but a lot of people are really hating on them. I think they're fun. I really do like what they've done.
Just picking up something. They've always done that. Well, I say Disney have always done their holiday special stuff.
Yeah.
So just go with it. I think they'll sell. There's many people out there who'll have, collections they need to do with those sort of Christmas things. I was going to ask with the Transformers figures.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly think much of them. I think there was Cyclone. Is it Cyclone?
Cyclonus.
I quite like that. And then there was a couple of other figures, but the rest of them, the sort of Beast sort of things, I didn't necessarily like them too much within the War of Cybertron. Like, I thought they were going to do something else.
Well, the thing is as well, because now it's the next part. It's called Kingdom, and Beast Wars was their anniversary last year. I think for Beast Wars, they're one of their big anniversaries. So it's only right from the start including Beast Wars in now. I've never been into Beast Wars. I've watched the show, and the show is actually really good. I really enjoyed the show. But the toys for me didn't really do it for me. I wanted just my cars, my robots, and that sort of stuff. I didn't like all the organic stuff. But they are really, really good. And the Masterpiece stuff, the Takara stuff, and Hasbro, what they've done with the last 3 to 4 years, they've been really, really intricate. And then having the a premium figure like you get for about, say, 120 quid or 300 quid, depending what figure it is, and get it down to about the £40 mark, and having it really highly detailed, I think what they've done is really good, and the toys look good. They don't float my boat because
sort of Voyager series sort of price.
Yeah, that's about 40 quid, that Voyager class size. I mean, don't get me wrong, they look lovely, but they're not my cup of tea. But they've got other figures that has come out as well. I mean, Marvel Legends, they've got a massive wave where it's a bit of a mixture. You got like Tony Stark, I think, from the game verse. You got Captain America from the game verse.
I didn't particularly like the Cap figure. I know it's based on the thing, but the face looked, it just wasn't.
It doesn't look good. But having a Mr. Fix-It, the Hulk, in a gangster look, I think, as a builder figure, I think is really good. I'm not a really big Mr. Fix-It fan. I know we have a mutual friend who is a massive Hulk fan. He's just bought the whole wave. So happy for him. I told him, he goes, oh, you might want to know, because he said, oh, you just pre-order it. So I'm glad he's got that. God, what else is? Got the Razor Crests.
G.I. Joe figures. I was quite impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say about them, I actually saw that.
They were
so good.
Really nice. To be honest, they were the best of the bunch. I felt as originality and just keeping in trend with things.
A lot of fun.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the Star Wars figures were brilliant, but it's Star Wars, isn't it? But the G.I. Joe, I tell you what, they came home, I think, with this con. The figures look amazing. And obviously, we talked about John Cena earlier, and he came in on the...
I was going to ask you, what was he doing? I saw him dressed up as Bumblebee.
He was a judge at one point for the cosplay.
That explains why he was dressed up then.
And then obviously he did a Q&A with Tenacious D as well about GI and Transformers. Yeah. But I was going to say to, obviously both of you watched bits of it. I think it was a very, the whole concept, it was different from fandom. Obviously it was live on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it still felt intimate, and obviously you had the live comments as well, where people could have a chat and all that sort of stuff. And generally, for me, it was great fun, being able to do that. And yes, there were some complications here and there, but that's live TV, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the majority of it was really good. Obviously, you're always going to get people complaining in the sections. Oh, I wanted this, I wanted that out of a figure. Oh well. But I think the general consensus, I think, I thoroughly enjoyed it over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I did.
I guess I was disappointed because I couldn't get Hero Quest, but it doesn't matter.
You were very disappointed to me.
Yeah, there's other avenues I can go down to maybe get it.
Watch this space, though, Rob, because I'm hoping that...
help me out with that, then brilliant. Because I could go down.
I really want it. I really, really want it. If I have to go down that road, then I will. I'll ask my cousin America to pick me up one. But I'm thinking hopefully a couple of retailers at the moment will be getting over here.
They're going to keep on, obviously, with the promoting. I will briefly mention Power Rangers, obviously, that you brought up. There was a good panel with the existing Beast Morphers Power Rangers, and then they released the new Dino Fury trailer for the new series.
Oh, cool.
Which I don't need to go into much. It's Power Rangers. It doesn't change too much. If you're a fan, you're a fan. So I've always been a fan, and also my kids enjoy sitting down, so we, will enjoy that. The figures, personally, with the Lightning collection, they're really nice figures. And for me, I pick up the SH figure art figures. So, it's one of those things. But the
What do you think of Tommy? What do you think of Tommy with the one with the green bandana one?
Face sculpt. Yeah, it's better. The face sculpts are getting better. I think the Dino Thunder Red Ranger I really enjoyed. The Neo Megazord was really nice. I think with the classic figures, I think the big reason they've done them is the original ones go for big money. And especially when you get Power Rangers to sign them. So I think they've done a smart thing where they're going to go, yeah, we'll release those. And people can now pick them up at a reasonable price and then get them signed.
Yeah.
So, fair play to them for that.
And that's the reason why I love about the archive line now, because now they're on their third wave of the archive line, and now they're bringing it in as well, Commander Cody, because he on his own goes for like over £100 for one £20 figure, and now they're re-releasing him now, and I think it's out on pre-order in I think it's next week. I mean, because now they got as well the Hoth Luke, because they've done the Wampa, and now they got Hoth Luke, and they got the Han Solo. And there's always been a bit of a problem with Han Solo. If what was it? Was it a brown jacket or was it a blue jacket? It's actually both, but they said, oh yeah, it was definitely a brown jacket. It's all to do with lighting, basically. And they got that separate as well, which I've already got the figure anyway, but I might get myself the Luke. I'm not sure about the Wampa, but the arm does still come off. But at the moment they got the end
one that they release, yeah.
Yeah, it's no blood on it. Disney stuff said no blood on it at all. So it doesn't bother me at all either way. They got the Endor set, which I do want, but I'm going to wait for them to come out in separate, in the small boxes. Which
they've already said, didn't they? They literally said as they were describing it, we've got this box set, but they're going to come out in a later line. I'm not sure about the Ewok. I don't think they said the Ewok was going to.
I hope they do. Because I do want that. I don't want to get too many Ewoks, but I hope they do, because there's a few figures I want from that line. But like I said, at the moment, it is. I'm a bit spoiled for choice, but now I got to be a bit more choosy with the figures I really want the most. I'm only going to get about 2, 3, maybe 4 max out of the ones they've revealed. I'm still waiting on a few others at the moment. But other than that, though, I'm literally happy with what they released at the moment. They listen to the fans, but I just wish they'd give us stands, because a lot of the figures just to keep them falling over. But other than that, though, I'm happy with the whole convention. The con. I think the reveals, a lot of people in the Transformers world at the moment have been really peeved off about it, but at the end of the day, it's what Hasbro do. They do these exclusives. They make things hard. They're not making things hard, but it's just a lot of people all around the world clamoring on to try and get there and try and get those pre-orders in, and that's the nature of the business.
A lot of them have already sold out, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. They sold out in minutes. They sold out in minutes. So, yeah. Other than that, I think that's all I can really say on it, really, at the moment for me.
So, Tom, I know you watched a few things about with the weekend with the Pulse Con. How do you think? How do you feel about the whole?
Yeah, it was interesting. To be honest with you, as you were saying about the way that it was flowing, it was obviously via YouTube. You kind of had similar to the first weekend of DC Fandom in that it was scheduled for you, if I'm correct in stating that. Yes.
Yeah.
So everything looked really professional. Clearly, they sorted out their streams properly, at least when I was watching. Good set of guests, as we said. John Cena was quite entertaining from what I saw. Tenacious D, I did watch a bit of their performance. That was quite good as well. Ultimately, I'm not obviously a huge collector of toys and things like that. So for me, it wasn't something that I was going to watch religiously and sort of really get knee deep into it. I focused on you guys allowing me to do that. So, but it seemed like really, really good fun. And there was a lot of quite cool reveals from what I saw for those that are really into it.
And my bank balance going, no, please don't. That's what it felt like.
I was going to say, talking about bank balances looking like please don't, this new Gundam build that you've been doing, tell us a bit of what we've been doing. Mr. Toy Therapy.
Basically, I just wanted to go up again on a build. I do like my builds when I get a chance to do them. And this one is 3 hours work, and I have only done just the frame and some clip-on bits. It is an absolute bugger, but it's a lot of fun. I find it really helps my concentration.
Chad, is that what you were sending me through earlier?
Yeah.
Of the time lapse?
Yeah.
God, it looks bigger than the photos, doesn't
it? Well,
they're all that sort of skill,
but this
I've been doing them for a couple of years. I'm sorry, more than that. But I will say, do you find, when you pop them off the frame?
Yeah. You
find them quite good?
I do. I really do.
Other sort of AFX, or what I'm talking about, older sets. They're very... but the amount of... It's like Lego. When you build Lego, and you've built all these things, and then you just cover it with something. And you go, well, I built that. And it's just like, what? I built an engine in a car, and that's covered over. I can't see it.
Well, I mean, got the slightly easier ones. Here, just this is only like about 6 inches, and it's only basic. This is only just basic, and then I went up another level, which got more intricate parts and more stuff on there as well. So, but this one is like a whole new level. I mean, they even had this like bit of piping on it, and you have to cut it into it and get it to size. And they give you a small ruler thing as well on the pages of how long it's got to be. And that was a whole new level. And I kind of stuffed up a little bit, but I managed to hide it. But it's definitely been an eye-opener for me, and just do something as well. A bit more different. But as you can see around here, there'll be a little hyperlapse. I mean, the stuff there, that was like 3 hours worth of work just to do that. And it is. This is really fiddly. The pieces are like minute. Some of the pieces are so minute. And I had to use tweezers and things like that. And it was like a couple of times. I cut a big piece off. It flew off across the room. I went, "Oh no!" I was like, I had to literally go on the hands on the floor. I was like,
"Oh no!"
There was a bit where I had to cut between two because I literally, as it flew off, and I had to stop the camera so I can and I took my watch off because I was like this, using my arm and going like this all around the floor so I can feel it with part of my body. That's how bad it was. But yeah.
It's crucial sometimes, those little pieces as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, mate, I mean, this is a whole new level of build, and I wanted to see if I can do it, and I just seen some bits now I need to trim off a bit more. But
it's when you were brilliant, you know, when it went Lego to Technic Lego. Like,
well, that's something I never had when I was a kid. I never had it. I always wanted it, but I never had it.
We had certain sets for it with the car and with the motors, you know, like the battery pack was like this big, but going back to the Gundam sort of stuff, and I've done a few over the years, and it is that next level. And it's surprising how, like, even with Lego, it's still surprising how much time you sit down. I've been rebuilding some of the Hogwarts stuff for the girls, and I've got the instructions, and some of them are like semi-built, and they've just been put in a bag.
Yeah, I mean, this is always Japanese.
How much time is spent on, like we were talking about it, a leg, or an arm? It's just ridiculous. It really is. But that's what it's about, you know? It's a hobby.
Oh, yeah. It is a good hobby.
Being able to, like, I used to just like put some music on, and then just and get on with it, and they're lovely. And especially when, I mean, the negatives on some of the early figures, they were very like flimsy. So for like posability, they weren't that great, but they've got better.
Loads better. I've never seen the whole point of Gundam until I was at a Transformers convention. I think it was last year, and they gave out kits. They only had some amount of kits, and I managed to get myself onto one, and I built one in about, say, half an hour. It was a quick one, and I went, "Oh, I actually really enjoyed that."
I can do that.
Yeah, and I was like, I really enjoyed that. I mean, I had it was quite a busy convention, and I wanted to get myself out of the convention a little bit and do something chilled. I was in a quiet room, and literally I did it, and I was feeling a bit anxious that day. I felt really anxious. This completely not cured me, but stopped me from being anxious. And I do find these, when I feel anxious, I do this sort of thing, and it completely just zones me out. I got my anxieties under control a little bit more now, but I just find it really sort of grounds me quite a bit. Same with my painting and my Warhammer stuff, which I do, which I need to go back to. What
figure is this?
This one is Gundam Mark II AEUG. Prototype suit.
What a mouthful.
But it's a big bugger. It is just like the sticker sheet it comes with it. Oh my god, they're like small. So that's gonna be stressful. That's not gonna happen.
They are like, it's so enjoyable to sit down. And I so relate to the one little piece going off somewhere. Because I've still got it. I've got like a big, like, serving tray with like lips on it. When I used to do it, and even then they'd bugger off somewhere else, and you go, everyone just stand still, don't move. And the kids go, "Ma," and I go, "No, just don't move." And then you'd have to, like you said, you know, especially if it was like arm joints and stuff, you have to have that piece.
Luckily, one bit flew over. I said, Sarah, can you get that bit for me? And it went over there. She got it. And then one bit where she wandered around, and I had to stop the camera, and I had to literally go like that, like along the carpet, like, you know, just to feel, because I couldn't see it because it was almost the same color as the carpet. I had to use my hands to like feel around. It was just like, it felt like I was one of those mimes, like going across. It felt like that a bit. But like I said, I can laugh at it now, but it is fun. It is loads and loads of fun. I love it.
We'll look forward to the finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah, be next. I'll do some in a week, I think, as well. I'll do some, most probably do some tomorrow. My partner will be going up to do a choir, so I'll be nice and quiet. I can just put some music
like you've done now. You've done the core of the body, but you've got the outer shell now, and all the work you've done now, you won't see in the finished product.
Yeah.
Like I said, the hardest part was this little bit, the piping tubing with the material. That was the hard part, and that, like, one part of that took me about half an hour just to do properly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more.
Working.
Oh, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Well, I'm looking forward, and I'm sure everyone else is, to seeing the final updated, fully built Gundam model. Yeah. Nice.
Just looks like a Star Wars droid at the moment, doesn't it?
It does a bit.
It does. With that in mind, I think we've come into the end of our little chalking session now. So before we go, guys, Chad, where can they find you, sir?
You can find me on Instagram as toy_therapy and on YouTube as well.
YouTube. Check it out.
Rob.
I'll tell you what, I did the last 2 episodes. Check out those toy reviews. I've always, like, there's no convincing me. I love toys. But yeah, definitely go and check them out. And for me, unfortunately, I'm only on one platform, Instagram, Pizza Vita. I may have to spell that out at some point, but it's just me, comics, and my girls.
Amazing stuff. So I'm Neon Tinted Tom. I'm on Twitter at Neon Tinted. We are on Twitter, all the socials, Chalk of Oa. It's been fun. It's been a bit longer, but hopefully we'll be back in the ring with another swinging hit of Chalk of Oa next week. Diolch yn fawr, noswaith dda. Have a good one all.